So it's suggested that as well as there being no real time, there's no real space. So there's no location. This is a suggestion that comes out of nothing, is that there's no real location or position or space without separation. So in order for there to be space, there has to be separate things to be distant from each other, and really this is not fundamental, this is not even substantial at all. There just is nothing being whatever, but there are no things that nothing is being. So there's not a chair that nothing is being, there is just nothing chairing in a sense. I mean, it can't really be worded more clear or accurately than that. There are no separate things that are actually really happening. Everything is totally, wonderfully and immediately nothing happening. So there's no reference point, there are no things that are located. This is a dream. The dream of positionality seems to project its sense of position onto every other thing it thinks it's knowing about and relating to. So if there's a sense of me here, then there's definitely a chair over there, and a light bulb over there, and maybe even a thought or a perception of some kind over there. So this is the here and there artificial dream. So here and there is another aspect of this illusion in a sense. And what is suggested is that that's a felt sense, really, in a way. It's a felt reality, like it sort of feels viscerally located in time and space. So it feels like I am here. It's not like that's an understanding or something, or a conceptual design. It feels like a visceral framework, that there's actually positionality, that is a real felt sense. And the sense of being here is sometimes called contractedness or concentration, like an energetic, concentrated energy. Feels like it's absolutely, definitely, 100% fundamentally here, and that's me. That's my reality. I'm a person, I'm a separate person, and I'm located. So that is the package. It's not like, that there's an I am and then there's a here. The I am is the here. So when it's sometimes said by some people, there's no one here, it's not like, as best words can do, that's not fully accurate, really. I mean, there's no real accuracy, but to say there's no one here still implies that there's a here for no one to be. But there is no here, and there is no one. There's no here for there to be someone or no one. So here and there is this dynamic exposure of illusory nature. There is no here and there without individuality, and there is no individuality without here and there. They are inseparable. That is the package, really. So that seems to be part of that illusory construct. So, and what can't be comprehended is the absence of that, and it already is absent. But there isn't a here already. It's an energetic sense, but it's a misconception at the same time. I mean, to call it a misconception again makes it sound like it's a cognitive appearance, but it's kind of like an energetic misconception, a psychosomatic misconception, that there's actually a place in space where I'm located and everything is orbiting around me. Everything is circulating around me. All of my relationships, my friends, my family, my possessions, my thoughts, my sensations, my ideologies, beliefs, opinions, it's all circulating and orbiting around me, and I'm the center of all of it. So this is sort of a sophisticated, self-centered dream that's not even happening. It's not happening to anyone. It's not even happening at all. It's an illusion. All of those ideas and beliefs, ideologies and perceptions that seem to be happening are absolutely not real. They're not fundamental. That is nothing, and it's not close or far to anything. It is just this, simply immediately being those things. But the notion that that is actually happening and that it's separate from another happening called me is completely illusory. That's not real at all on any level. That is the misconception and the energy of feeling like a separate individual. And of course, neti processes will tell you that, you just strip off those layers of ideas, beliefs and opinions, like an onion. You just peel off all those layers and eventually you'll get to the core, the core of where you are and who you are, what you are. And that's the essential nature of your being, your true nature. But like an onion, actually, there is no core. There's nothing at the center. There is no center to be found. There is no center at all. So all of those layers are not layers. There's no layers. There's no levels. There's no dimensions. There's no depth or breadth. There's no surface. All there is nothing. And that is all there is. It's everything. Everything that is happening is nothing appearing to happen. Not orbiting around anything, not close to anything, not far from anything, not moving through anything, just nothing. Immediacy is that. It's total. It's nothing happening. So there's no way, without positionality and momentum and moving through time and space, with cause and effect as a fundamental reality as well, there's no way of applying that. There's no way of that being used, obviously. There's no way of that becoming the case or, a process to be made out of that. It is already. Immediacy, nothing happening, is already. The exposure that there is no center. There's no center to fall away. There's no contracted energy to disappear. It's an illusion. So any attempt to try and get rid of that or to make it change somehow is also nothing happening. That's not orbiting around anything either. The exposure is slicing through that which isn't happening already. It's pointing out that nothing needs to happen already. Nothing needs to fall away already. The idea that something needs to happen will fool itself into believing that there is such a thing as a contracted energy and one day there won't be. It's not heard what's being said. There's no one day. There's no what will be. There's no what's next, what comes after. No real cause and effect without positionality. Positionality is dream stuff. No position, no cause, no effect, no timeline, no space, no position, no thing at all. Just this, already everything.
It's just very, it's somewhat surprising that, just in all honesty, that it would legitimately not occur to me now that this energetic feeling of separation it would no longer occur that would be a thing that would be in a quality called better by being in some other formulation, right? That there wouldn't be the facility to make those patterns of thought, right? But there'd still be separation here, right? But it's so surprising now that can still be perceived as, let's put it in time, it's impossible not to talk of it and not talk of it in time like this, but even if you want to call it coming back, I can't describe it better than it just simply wouldn't occur to you that would be something that either would need to be removed or that it wouldn't make any sense that there would be any difference to anyone or about anything, right? But the ease and that's unconditional love. That's why it's immediacy and how those are actually the same words for the same things almost. that was surprising, because it's always been, how would you describe it? The me is it's like, there's always been, that's what you're trying to destroy in this process of your spiritual journey, right?
Well, it feels like it's always on the move.
Yeah, but it's like it's not like it is or isn't. It's just a disinterest in. It's not a concern.
No.
And that's different.
So all of these things that I've heard you say before, and the last couple of days that we've been sitting together, they're clear. The idea when the me falls away, it doesn't really fall away, but when that happens, it never happened. It doesn't make any sense, but it's true, it never happened. And yeah, it's weird. And that it's a non-event. You know, it's like less than ordinary. It's not less than or more than anything, but it's like a non-event.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know if it's you or if it was Jim that I heard say something like, it's not even worth talking about, or it's not even worth mentioning. It's like that. You know, it's not that it's not worth mentioning. I don't know, I wouldn't actually put it that way, but it's like that. You know, it's ordinary, I guess, is the best way that I can describe it. Realizing that I had expected an event. I had expected something special.
Yeah.
And then in that there is no one, there is no me, then it's like, okay, there is no you.
Yeah.
And walking around with that for the last day or two, there's something that, and just observing people, there's something that's like compassionate about that. It's like there's no more demands. There's no demands on anybody to be any way. It's just like seeing them showing up as they are. It's just seeing bodies showing up as bodies are showing up, movements showing up as movements are showing up, speaking showing up as speaking is showing up. And I think I was really judgmental my whole life, even though I know I'm in a story now. But that's gone, you know. There's just such a relief there. That's like, even though it's not a relief for anyone, it's just there's something there that's like, kind of like an out breath. And then the idea of there's no thing. So if the fear comes up, seeing that there is no actual fear.
Without anyone seeing, yeah.
Without anyone seeing, there's
just
no
fear.
fear. Because there's no thing. You said this yesterday or the day before. There's no thing to make anything a thing.
Yeah.
And that opened it for me. It opened it, however you want to say it. But it's like, of course, there's nothing that makes fear fear. There's nothing that makes that chair a chair. There's nothing that makes this body a body. So, and all of that is sort of intellectual, but there's also just a seeing that there is no thing. And then that's when that's the collapse, which you talked about today. Which is what I'm sitting with now, or what's this idea of there is no space. So again, I found myself compelled to just speak. I don't have a question, but I'm open to, if you want to say anything further or respond to what I've said. I'm open to hearing whatever it is that's alive there or not. I don't know. I'm usually the one that doesn't say anything. I'm usually the one that comes to these events and just sits and listens. Usually because I'm too afraid of what, the implications of saying something stupid. But that's not here this time, so there it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is a response to any of that. It's just naturally as it is, what's appearing to happen. There's no sense that there's anything to respond to. Yeah.
I remember from the beginning the words like misconception and exposure. The misconception will disappear in the exposure.
That's a cause and effect story, which is a misconception.
So yes.
The exposure points out the misconception, really. That's what seems to happen. What's being exposed is the misconceptions of space, time, cause, effect, free will, choice, meaning, purpose, separation, and individuality as all completely illusory. Yeah. When I say time and space in that obviously is like the felt sense of timeline and space, spatial location. Those are reduced to concepts, it would seem. Like time being a concept and space being a concept. It's not a reality.
Is there like a core of misconception?
A core?
Yeah, like where all the other misconception on.
Yeah. It's not like there's separation for there to be an origin. Because for there to be an origin, a foundation or a source, where things pop out of, that's separate based as well. So it's not really like that.
So all misconception coming out of a misconception? or how would what you say.
It seems as though the misconceptions grow out of a sense of here, position.
Of position, of
Like
locality.
an energetic sense of being here. Out of that sense of energetic here-ness, location, these misconceptions seem to grow. That's how it seems to appear. Awareness is another one. Awareness, like the sense that awareness is a fundamental reality, like that there's someone to be aware of whatever is happening. That's another one. That's another misconception.
Yeah.
So all of those misconceptions seem to grow out of the sense of an energy that would feel itself to be local, concentrated, separate.
Yeah. And what I have this picture like the I sense appears like if there are a lot of thoughts, like if there are other thoughts around, then the subject, kind of the illusionary subject, seems real because they're like if you subtly feel that there is a feeling and you take that feeling as something, then it seems like at that moment there is a subject appearing.
Yeah. All objects would seem to validate the subject as a reality.
Yeah.
That's why the dream of ownership seems so important to me. Because as long as I own things, I am a person, I'm real.
Yeah.
If it's got nothing to hold on to or own, relate to or know either, there's no one to be, there's no one. There's just no one.
The first thing that the identity owns is itself, like he has a feeling of itself, and then that's the first ownership, and then he owns my feeling, my thinking.
I'm not really sure if it's like that. It just seems like there's a felt sense of a position. It seems for many bodies that happens at a very early age in the human form, and it's usually the caregiver. It's often the primary caregiver, whether that's mum, dad, or a guardian. Suddenly that person is at a distance from me, and that's the first thing I own. That's my mother. Suddenly mother is my mother. It's like out of that sense of here-ness, it's like suddenly there's a distance between a me and a you, and that it's often like that. That's how it seems to appear. It's not owning itself, because it's not separate from itself to own itself. A subject can't own a subject. It can't objectify itself. That's just a misconception as well.
And the exposure, like what's happening here, what's happening here, but like the exposure disturbs this process of imaginary connecting to something, like, and then the exposure the exposure is meant to erase the misconception?
No, there's no intention. There's no intention to change anything. It's pointing out what is already. And it's pointing out what is already without the intention to change anything. If it said that this is already inseparable, this is already wholeness, this is already free, this is already unconditional love, there's no implications to that. That doesn't mean that therefore this is going to happen. It's not about what will be or this is going to happen if you come to this. It's what is already.
It seems like what you're telling, the message is like 100% radical, and there's not a tiny room for anything to express or like there's no story, no nothing, no this, no that. It's just there's no room for anything, but like the misconception this is happening like seemingly everywhere, or a lot. To speak about that misconception and to like, I don't know, to talk about the subject, we use like little stories to make a point or to convey something. No.
Well, there's no point to be made without a process to go somewhere else. Some people come with their agendas and their intentions to get somewhere with this, and what can happen is that can fall away. Even the intention to come to lose intention, like whatever it is that dreamt reality thinks it's doing, it's not getting what it wants, it's not getting validation at all. There's no acknowledgement that there is even a separate individual in the first place. There's a story, like telling a story about how this seems to be, and that really is a crucial word, it would seem. It seems to be like this, and then it's exposed, no, it's not really like that. There's just what's happening for no one and no reason, and it's not going anywhere. So no process can be made out of that. Whatever intentions or agendas people come with, trying to get somewhere, trying to make something happen, and this is kind of just pointed out as dream stuff, and that there's nowhere to get to.
For example, this mentioning this energetic misconception, it's very hard to not. I mean, we couldn't speak about unless we have to make it a little story to speak about, and then telling, by the way, that it's not a story, but like whatever we talk about. Like talking about is making a story out of it a little bit, or not, like for it.
Well, to say all there is what's immediately appearing to happen with which is nothing appearing to happen is not really a story.
Not really, yeah.
Not really, because it's not. The story is about something else. Story implies something else other than this.
Yesterday we had that, like, a concept can be a concept, but it can be also the reality.
Yeah. There can be the appearance of a conceptual understanding, and there can be the appearance of a yes. Like just that this is, yes, this is the natural reality. Without position, there's nowhere to get to. There's nowhere to go, to get away from. Without position, there's just no possibility of anything going anywhere. It's a store, like it's immediacy. It's just already immediacy. Yeah. So it can seem like there's a sense of a position that understands objectively that there is no position really. Like that's an objective understanding of a subject-object reality.
Yeah.
And what can also be apparent is that there's no sense of position, and that's just what is.
You wanted it?
I thought you wanted it.
Yeah, no, I'll take it, yeah.
You wanted it?
Yeah, I didn't know if you would claim it. Oh, fuck you.
I'm not finished yet.
You had your turn already.
Yeah, I like what you said about whatever the endless, whatever agenda that might have been thought is not, it's coming with is not getting service, as you were saying, right?
Right.
As a corollary of that, I'm the way that these sort of meetings, it's absolutely, in my view, should be considered absolutely fine if you're feeling a bit bored. Go and walk, because it's not a thing where you, there's something here that's absence
Right.
of something that's coming here in a formulated approach. No, like if you're bored, go and have a fag or walk or whatever. It's not happening in the place. It's not a thing.
Right.
Even to say it's an exposure is too much. It's just what endless freedom is, just as it always is.
Well, there is only freedom, yes. It's not. It's
groovy, is what I'm saying. Right?
Yeah. Well, it is groovy. It's not located to this room. It's not located to this meeting. It's not located to a body. It's not located.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So even in the context of the meeting,
well, yeah,
to even
walking
think
out,
that it would be a problem.
Right. Yeah, walking out because no one said anything for an hour, and the legs are getting a bit stiff, or I want a fag or a coffee. That's what's happening. There's not more. Yeah. That's not further or closer from anything. It's what is. It's all what is. Yeah.
Precisely.
There's no way to get to what is. There only is what is.
Yeah, and also, as you said the other day, in rather charmingly, I like the inverted logic you use to make the point. There's nothing that can cause the end of the dream of cause and effect, which is
yeah. So nothing causes the dream of cause and effect either. Yeah. So when people say,
well, so what can
how does that sense come into being? Well, it's like, well, how is cause and effect?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
What can you say? I mean, what can you say?
Could you say a little bit about this energetic sense of me that is like, I feel like it's kind of coming in waves and always like inviting with kind of an energetic pull to go into something, like with ideas, like a scenario, I'm here now and what do I do next, or like it comes always with a kind of context and then creates a kind of energy that is ready to act or to get active, to do something about whatever. And if there is no like going with it, then it just goes away, and then again there's like nothing to name again, and there's nothing.
That kind of suggests that you could do nothing and then it would go away. It's not like that.
Could do nothing? Yes.
That would be a misunderstanding. There's a sense of position, and it feels like it's in control somehow, and it feels like with its control, moving through time and space, because it's positional, so it's positioned in time and space, with its free will, it needs to be making a direction, it needs to be making progress in one way or another, it needs to be getting on with something. Even if that's staying still, it feels like it should be doing that. Letting go, accepting, surrendering, forgiving, improving, integrating. It's always on a path of some kind to get an object that it can relate to.
Yeah. It feels like this. When there's just that moment, so to speak, there is just this nowness, and there is nothing, there's just that. There is no idea about anything, there is no boredom, no this, no that, there's just not naming it, there doesn't seem any kind of resistance to that moment. And then out of the nothing, maybe some feeling pops up and some pressure to engage, and it has some context, and it always has a me inside, because there's kind of a little story about that feeling, about that thinking. And if that goes away again, then anything about that story is gone completely, and there's just again that moment. No?
It's momentless though, isn't it? It's timeless. Without sense of separation, there's no time.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
Yeah.
So there's no agenda. The dream is with agenda as well.
The dream is with agenda as well.
Yeah, agenda is direction to get somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, ideas are not blockages or anything, they're not obstacles. If there are no ideas, there could still be a sense of a position. And there could be ideas appearing without a sense of a position having them. Yeah. Thoughts, memories, ideas, or whatever.
Yeah, and that what I said before, it was not so much about the ideas, but they create there is some...
Well, they might be storytelling. The ideas might be storytelling. And if they're related to, then it kind of feels like I'm going somewhere with them. They're taking me somewhere. They're helping me to formulate a path or something. But when nothing is related to, there's no direction.
Yeah.
There's no agenda. Yeah. There's nothing that needs to happen. And there is no one to be in what is. There's no one to be with what is.
Yes.
There's just what is.
Yes.
And that can seem to be a bit of an ebbing and a flowing.
And what?
An ebbing and flowing, like
ebbing and flowing.
Coming and going, but that's still dream stuff, because it's still a kind of timely fluctuation of a sense of me. So it can seem to pulsate, expand, contract, but that's still dream-like, because it's still directional. Without direction, without position, there is only immediacy, which is not going anywhere. It's not coming, going, becoming, changing. It is only this.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
This ebbing and flowing, I mean, nobody would say that ebbing and flowing is like not dream stuff. But
all the time it seems like there's even a coming and a going of a sense of separation. There's still separation. Yeah. There's still a sense that that's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it can seem like there's a coming and going of a sense of separateness. The fading out of the dream is part of the dream.
Yeah.
So nonsensically and paradoxically, there is no end to a dream in which timeline is fundamental to that dream. So in which the dream there is only timeline, there's no end to that. Because in order for there to be an end of it, time has to carry on being a fundamental reality without depending on that. So it doesn't make sense, and yet it makes total sense. So this is a paradox that doesn't really make any sense, and yet somehow or other it makes total sense, absolute sense, complete sense. There's just no way of understanding that. But essentially, there is already no dream. There is already no timeline. And there's also no where in which that dream is or isn't happening. The dream too is fundamentally about space and position, so there's nowhere to get to or away from for that dream to end. So time and space being fundamentally dependent on on that dream of positionality, well then without the dream, no time, no space, therefore no now and then or here or there. So this is already absence. This is already absolutely absent, freely so, without anyone's say-so. This is totally already dreamless, absence for no one. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Much love.